Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. Good morning, friends. Good morning, good morning. I pray you are well on this Wednesday. How are you, friends? That there is goodness in your days. Hey, Vicky. Good morning to you. How are you? Fresh cup of coffee. Yum, 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 yum. If I was late, it's because my coffee was brewing. Glad you're so delicious. How is everybody today? Good morning. Guy, please pay attention today and getting her current. Hey, I hope that works out. I hope the engine comes through. Okay. Hey, good morning, Pastor John. Welcome, welcome. Peace and grace to you. Karen, good morning to you. Hello, hello. Sure, John. You can message the church if you'd like. Please feel free. Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. Good morning on this day, this Wednesday. It is a Wednesday, friends, on this, the 10th day of August. That I hope you are well and good and whole and welcome to this 11:11, that you're a part of this grand journey. Before we get started today, I just want to kind of come back around and remind you that we just managed to populate things over to Spotify. So if you can like us on Spotify or follow us there, that would be terrific. It's a great place for content, and we just added up the number of messages that we've done since the beginning of our time gathering here at 11:11 and worship on Sundays, and we have there are 539 is what I was told this morning. Different messages that this should be episode 540 of 11:11 and worship sermons. So there's a little bit of content there. So if you want to explore these, but welcome today. Welcome to be a part of this community, and that we might come together and continue to journey with our church and with our life together. I want to. There's a line in a few of the different Gospels in Matthew and Luke, and that is, "Be perfect, like your Father in heaven is perfect." This invitation, this instruction by Jesus to us to be perfect, and this gets a lot has been done with this. And one way it can be held as a really good excuse to feel bad about ourselves, is because we are not perfect, and that Jesus is called to us to be perfect. It seems like a setup, doesn't it? But I want to talk about this in a little different way, and I want to talk about it in a different way of how we come to understand this life, because we've been so inhabited, so infested, so kind of taken over with the idea that what we are and how we do it, and particularly our performance in the world, is in fact the very the most critical thing of our days, and that is really the measure of our moral goodness. that our goodness and our morality is all about the actions of our days, and that we get them right. Some days we get them wrong. Some days we're smart. Some days we're stupid. Some days we're good. Some days we're bad. That these actions take on identity. And that you think about that, and I say that, and I would imagine you're kind of nodding along, because that makes a lot of sense to all of us. We look at the world's actions, we look at people who are doing good things or not doing good things, and that they're good people or not good people, and we judge them by their fruit, right? Or by what they're doing in the world, or how they're doing things in the world, or what they're doing. But I want to suggest to you this is actually a wrong understanding. This is actually not what we're built for. That we're going to do things in this world, yes, and that the doing of the things is going to put us in a particular moral orientation to the world, yes, but that is not the purpose and the function of who we are and what we are. And in fact, it does not dictate our value. We talked about Chesterton. I have a real love affair with Chesterton lately. That's all right. I fall in love and out of love with different theologians all the time, so it happens. But Chesterton is just terrific, and he's writing about this notion of good, and he says it this way. He says that the word good has a lot of meanings. For example, if a man were to shoot his grandmother at the range of 500 yards, I should call him a good shot, but not necessarily a good man. And so what we start to understand that this goodness, or what it is to be good, or to be perfect, like your Father in heaven is perfect, it is much more about function and much more about usefulness. And right? Because to make a 500-yard shot is a great thing. To make a 500-yard shot against your grandmother, not so much of a good thing. And not even in the moral way, but it's just in the, it's not all that helpful to grandma. It's really, it's gonna put a crimp in her day, And so this notion and so I think when we start to look at our lives and we start to look at our world through this notion of what is good, not in terms of what is morally correct, because we can get ourselves, or what is perfect, what's the perfect thing for us to do right now? What's the perfect thing that God wants me to do? What am I called to do right now? What is the perfect thing? And if I'm not doing the perfect thing, I'm just screwing it up, and I'm horrible, and I'm sinking. Help me! No, that's not it. That actually what it is really around this expression of our usefulness, of our goodness, of our affection to the one who made us, and the function of it that gives way to us moving into goodness. Because we're not good. I'm not good. You're not good. We're not good. This is one of the things the early reformers, I think, put a little too much emphasis on the wrong syllable kind of thing. But they were not wrong about kind of the depravity of humanity. We're not necessarily. We got all kinds of things going on in here. All kinds of stuff. All kinds of little, some rattlesnakes and some, puppy dogs. There's all sorts of stuff contending with each other in here. But we're not the source of any of it. It's like my mug here. I just made this cup of coffee. If I was late this morning, it was because I was making this cup of coffee because and this is actually, I think this is a perfect mug. My Hard Rock Cafe mug here. It's just perfect. It's perfect because it's big, and I've got big hands, and when I can put my both hands around it, and I will warm up my hands. It's just it'll hold a giant cup of coffee, which I'm of the the backstroke theory of coffee. If you can do the backstroke in the cup, then the cup is about the right size. And then if the spoon stands up on its own, then it's about the right consistency. That is and so. Oh, that is just perfect. That this mug. Now, why is this mug perfect? This is a good mug. I'll tell you what. Well, why is it a good mug? Why is this mug better than other mugs or other things or maybe a mug, well, one, it holds coffee, right? It has a function. One, it has integrity to it. It has sides on it fits the function for me in a way that really is good and right. That it becomes a sense of being a really brilliant representation of what a mug should be, right? Like we think about what the qualities of a mug that we would want to have. Well, this baby has it. And friends, I think I invite you to think about that, because I invite you to think about us as human beings in a similar way. That the perfect mug is what we call Christ. The perfect image of a human being is Jesus. And that ours is the image is to be kind of like the perfect image, and to find ourselves in the frame of that perfect image, to find ourselves not just imitating, because the qualities of the perfect mug, the qualities of the perfect human, are expressed uniquely through each one of us. So we have this, so it becomes not about being good, and it's the great thing that we hang ourselves up on when we hear that phrase and that from Jesus, be perfect like your Father in heaven is perfect. Like, oh, I could never be perfect. Oh, so just so that we seem to hang ourselves on the fence when that we're trying to climb over, because we'll never climb over the fence, because it's just that notion of being perfect. But it's much more the notion of understanding that the good is out there. The good has already been and has already overcome. The notion of what a perfect mug looks like already exists. The notion of what a perfect human looks like already exists. And we have the opportunity to receive that and make it useful in the world. That's the great power of it. C.S. Lewis puts it this way, and I probably should have just read this initially and shut up, but it's 11 minutes, so I've got to go at least 20. That's what we do here. But he says it this way. He says, the Christian does not think God will love us because we are good, but that God will make us good because he loves us. Hear that again. I should really take that in, because I think a lot of our world is out there in the world of every standard that is out there against us in the world, whether it's the cover of a magazine and what we're supposed to look like as men and women, whether it's the standard of what a perfect husband or a perfect wife or a perfect partner is supposed to look like, whether it's the standard of a perfect person in the world. There are so many out there that are trying to get their hands on us, and instead of infuse us with joy, infuse us with shame for constantly and always missing the mark. But friends, the mark was never there for the reaching in to begin with. The stars are set in the sky so that we might navigate by them, not that we might go to them. Hear Lewis again. The Christian does not think God will love us because we are good, but that God will make us good because he loves us. God's process with us is this invitation into relationship. And the invitation into relationship brings us into a formation, brings us into a way of being. That if we are loved, if we are to be loved, if we are to open ourselves to love, if we are to want goodness in this world, it comes through actually finding out how we can help. How can we be a better husband? How can we be a better wife? How can we be a better partner? How can we be a better father? How can we be a better mother? How can we love the people who are around us? How can we be a better citizen? How can we be a better church member? How can we but that perfection is not about getting it all right, or even being an improvement project, because we're not ours to improve. It is God's love in us that will bring us into further grace, but that will bring us into, and that often our thinking that we just need to be better so that God will love us, or we just need to be good so that God will love us, actually is one of the great stumbling blocks of our journey in our faith. God rejoices in your being. God rejoices in your life. God rejoices in your being in this world, however you are in it, right now and right here. That the great invitation to these days, the great invitation to this time, is not the invitation to life as it otherwise might be, but the invitation to how life is right now. To be the mug that we are where we find it. To hold that which we are given to hold. To keep the hands warm of those who would come to us. To be perfect as our Father in heaven is perfect. And not out of shame. Not out of striving because we've got to reach the next bar or the next rung, or else we will never make it into the good graces of God. But rather, it is the good graces of God that propel us forward and lift us up, ever refining us, ever crafting us, ever encouraging us into more perfection. That's the invitation. That's the love of this life. And that's why we are called to stand in joy, both while we are crushing it and things are going well and we're stepping into those ways of being and that grace that God has for us, and when we are fallen apart, and when it's not together, and when the world seems conspired against us, and we too can seem to be conspired against ourselves. That the invitation to perfect is not the invitation to get it all right, but it is really the invitation to be whole. Like this mug is whole. When I say it is the perfect coffee mug for me, it is perfect because it's whole. Bring your full self to the one who made you. Bring your fears, bring your doubts, bring your worries, bring your pain, bring your grief, bring your anxiety, bring all that you are, and let the one who made you refine you. Stop trying to treat yourself like a self-improvement project. Put away the Brene Brown for now. It's okay. She'll be there. You can learn some more later. But let today you just be useful where you are. You just help out, pull on the ropes as you can with your dirty hands and your broken back and your not very smart head. Just pull on the rope. And love the people who are near you and the world as it is. And try to be useful in it a bit. And that finding and set down that incredible standard that you hold for yourself and for seemingly everybody else and for the world as you think it's supposed to be. And just let God make you good because he loves you. All right, friends, that's my hope for you today. I know there are many of you here who are prayer warriors, and I want to invite you into prayer. Hey, Linda. Hey, Cecile. Good morning. Hey, Donna. Glad you made it. one of our deacons, Edie Banky, her husband Jim is in Rhode Island Hospital right now. He is very sick, and so I want to ask you to pray for him. He's has a bunch of belly things going on, and is in a bad way. So please pray for Jim, and pray for his healing, pray for his encouragement and his restoration in these days. And maybe just in that you'll find a little good, because God loves you. So friends, I am going to be on vacation for the next few days. We're going to be back with 11:11 in a week. So we will be back the Wednesday next. So we'll be back in 6 days from now Thursday next. Sorry, we'll be back Thursday next. So the 18th, I believe, of August. I'm taking a little summer siesta. I'll be in Maine for a little bit, and visiting with my family. And so I hope and encourage you to do the same in these high days of summer. And I pray that you let go of, that you might be perfect, like your Father in heaven is perfect, that you might be whole in your being before God. All right, friends. Jane has a question. Oh, please pray for John to rid of his SF. He's struggling a lot with the heat and sometimes somewhat tired. Well, please add John to your prayers as well. So we'll pray for John as well. Please pray for Jim and for John in these days ahead. All right. Peace and grace, my friends. We'll pick it up next week with another 11:11.